Anybody here can get it. Treat the game like a scrimmage now. Master B with the flow. I swear nigga got no limits now. I've been ballin' for a minute. Whole team full of winners. Anybody here can get it. You tuned into the winners now. Anybody here can get it. Treat the game like a scrimmage now. Master B with the flow. I swear nigga got no limits now. I've been ballin' for a minute. Whole team full of winners. Anybody here can get it. You tuned into the
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Platform, episode 20 or 21. We've lost count. It doesn't really matter. I'm your host, Greg. I've got Jackson on the line, and we've got a very, very special guest today. We've got Dan Bell. How are you, Dan?
Oh, just normal Monday here in the States. Still fat and sassy.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time. I know you're back to work this week, eh?
Yeah. Actually, I took Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off last week after the meet, and then getting back into it on Thursday. It was a little rough go at first, but been pushing through. Took the weekend off, of course. Went to another local meet around here, and yeah, right back to it on Monday. Just another day.
Nice. And you back training?
I was gonna go in this afternoon before I headed to work, but I got a service call. I'll probably head in tomorrow before I go to work again, and just keep it light, keep it fun. Back and biceps, nothing crazy. I'm not planning on going too heavy until next weekend.
Nice. Now, for those who have just joined us, or maybe have just joined powerlifting, or have been living in a cave, perhaps, Dan Bell has just achieved the all-time world record raw and reps, 1,182.5 kilos. That's correct, Dan. I got the numbers right.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And that
it's a 2,600 total as well. 2,600 pounds.
Yeah, for our American friends.
2606.
2606.
I've had it wrote down on I'm in my work truck right now, but I've had it wrote down on the cooler in my work truck for about 9 months now. Just those numbers staring at me every single day. It's been like a little visual I've had of myself.
We, for those who it was the Hybrid Showdown 3 held in Florida last weekend. So it's been a week now, right, Dan? So 500 kilo squat, a 272.5 kilogram bench, and a 410 kilo deadlift, which all looked bloody, well, I wouldn't say they looked easy, because but you made them look easy.
Yeah, I actually got to watch John Hack open his deadlift for the world record, and I planned on opening with 375. And right when I watched John open with the world record, I went right to the score table and changed my opener. I was I'm not 100% sure on the kilos, but it was 860, 859 is what would have gave me the world record, which chipped Peter's 1160. So it would have put me at 1162.5 right then. And that flew too good. I knew I kind of had a not so great training cycle going into it with deadlifts. My squats and bench were going great, but right when I hit that 860 on my opener, I knew 410 would be there. So I took it on my second, and
what happened there? What happened?
Yeah, it was almost too fast. I just got. I like to visualize driving on my heels when I deadlift, because if I get on my toes, then I tend to lift it like almost hitch, and I'll actually do like a calf raise with the deadlift, and the bar's too far out in front of me. It's just horrible leverages. But yeah, I was just too much on my heels at the top. I didn't expect it to be that fast. Not at all. And yeah, I walked with it for a couple seconds, which was a horrible idea. But yeah, then I took it again on my third. I was really hoping 420 might have been there, but I'm more than happy with 410.
That's got to be the plan for the. Go back. So you're just gonna skip seconds on deadlifts from now on, yeah? Because that's heaven to you. But like,
it would have been November 2 years ago when I took the world record from Andre. 881 was my second,
yeah,
and I planned on going 410 then, and I did the same exact thing on my second. I just took 2 steps back with it, so I made myself take 881 and get 400 again just to chip the world record. I felt kind of shitty about chipping it, but those heavy squats and the big benches just take a lot out of you.
Who did you, Dan? Who did your attempt selection on the day? Was it you or your coach?
Yeah, it was more me. But I have a handler, Seth Albersworth. He's actually from Calgary, and he goes to chiropractor school down here in Florida and kind of lives really close to me. It's also my knee wrapper. But the guy's the best guy to have in your corner come meet day. And he strategically, I mean, he knew my game plan the whole time because we've been training together the last 12 weeks. And his wife also trains with us too. But she competed the same day with me on the platform there in Miami. And yeah, he's the best guy to have in your corner when it comes down to it. I've had quite a few different guys, and Seth's really top notch. He's really strategic. He knows what I need to hear come meet day.
So you say you had those numbers written down on your cooler for the past 9 months? So it's been at least that. So like you obviously went in with a plan. I mean, this is one thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand when they first get into the sport. I mean, you've gone in planning to hit those numbers. You planned for them 9 months ago. You know, people try and get their plan on the day. You need to go in with a plan, obviously. Is that one of your big things?
Big time. Like every time I have a prep and write out my prep schedule, like whether it be 10 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, or 12 weeks deeper than that, I will write it all down on a piece of paper, and then I hang it on my refrigerator, and then I have it wrote down on a note card, and I keep that in my wallet. It's just some daily, like a daily reminder almost of what I got coming up on the weekends, whether it be a heavy deadlift or a heavy squat. And it just, I don't know, I just chew on it a little bit more aggressively that way if I get to see it daily and think about it, run it through my mind. For my job, I get a lot of mental time behind the steering wheel, driving around from different job to job. So the more I can think about it and think about the execution I have to do the next training day, it really helps me mentally.
So you're big proponent of visualization then.
Oh yeah, big time. Like I scream it to all my training partners. Execution. We can, the strength can be there, but one missed cue and that could be the end of the lift for you. That's big thing I do. Especially since I've been training with a lot of geared guys now. That's like when you go into gear lifting, it is all 100% execution. Whether it be, you know, the strength's definitely there, or it could be the most minute thing. And that's kind of why I did venture into geared lifting last year in July. Around this time last year, I was venturing into it, just playing around. Felt like I was just sharpening my blade, really. I wasn't going to pursue the world record total. I wasn't going to pursue, challenge Dave Hoff. I was just trying to, well, of course, at this time, we were going through the COVID nonsense too. And I just needed that venture, that goal to push me a little bit farther in the gym. And so far, it's paid off tenfold.
I did see something, it was probably a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago on social media about maybe a squat only, cash meet, and they were trying to get you to go into gear. What do you reckon? Would you go into gear, or you want them to come out of it?
Oh, I mean, right amount of money, I'll do just about anything. $20 $20, man. That's what you gotta look at it. I still don't feel like there's going to be an adequate amount of money to get me to walk away from my day job and venture down that road to where I would have to put my entire life focus on that. But the guy that got a hold of me about that. He's actually doing a deadlift only competition this October, and it's in Qatar. It's over just kind of by Dubai, and from 50K for the first place, 25K for second place, and it tiers down from there. Another incentive, 50K for world record, which for me it would be Benny Magnuson's 456, 457.25 kilo deadlift, and yeah, it's definitely a payday I'll go for. I mean, while I'm this strong, while I still got some age behind me, and I still got a few tricks on my sleeve, why would I not? You know, it's just this sport I fell into 8 years ago. I still have great love and passion for it. So if I can push myself to that next limit, next adventure, like why it'd almost be dumb not to for $100,000.
Dan, I know you mentioned, I've heard you mention before that you treat, and this will shock many people, but you treat powerlifting as a hobby.
You have to. I'm a firm believer of keeping it fun, and really Ed Cohn's the one that's kind of drilled that in my head over the last 4 years. Because every time I get a text from Eddie about something I did on Instagram, or if I send him a video for him to critique, he's like, Dan, you got to keep it fun. This isn't your lifelong goal. This isn't what's gonna feed your retirement come down the years. And I've found out that I perform a lot better keeping it fun. I've caught a lot of shit over the last week because I got caught in the warm-up room drinking a beer after my opener on
that's
squats.
awesome.
But yeah, that's the first thing. That's my first go-to to kind of break my nerves. If I get my head wrapped up too much in it, then I just look for avenues of failure, and that's not something I need to think about. So if I crack a Coors Light right after my squat opener, and it just seems like I'm here to have fun now. I'm here to party, here to put up some big numbers, and it kind of relaxes me a little bit more to perform better.
Yeah. I can see a whole generation of lifters now cracking open a beer in their warm-up room now, Jackson.
Dan Bell does it. If
Dan Bell does it, yeah.
That's the secret.
It must work. Yeah.
That's why he's squatting 500 and I'm not. He drinks after.
Yeah. Well, good. Because by the time they get done squatting, I'll be finishing off all their coolers in the warm-up room. Perfect.
So Dan, that would that attitude towards that casual attitude that allows you to enjoy the sport, that would potentially change if, for example, you did turn, not that it's really a thing yet, but professional in powerlifting. It then becomes a job, doesn't it? And so that enjoyment potentially will disappear.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that thought process has ran through my head too. If it does turn into that where my sole income would come off from powerlifting, I would have to put a lot more focus in it, and the nerves and anxiety would come probably tenfold. But I still don't think that it would fulfill my time, because I can't be stagnant. I hate being stagnant, whether it be on the platform or whether it be in my personal life. It drives me nuts to let myself just be stagnant. So if I don't have something going on, like professionally on the platform or professionally in my day job, if I don't have something moving forward, then I get really more nervous and try to pursue moving forward with what avenue it is. It's just something that's been, I don't know, it might be ADHD. I haven't really been professionally checked out, but it might be something along those lines where my mind is always going on the next step to move forward. And I think that's a great way to look at life in general. Even through the nonsense that we had to go through this last year, I was always looking for the next level of progression. And I've been really blessed with the job that I do have, to where it's really flexible with my own schedule. I do get service calls where I have to go do that and stuff. But other than that, my boss has been really great, to where I can tell him, hey, I need this Thursday, Friday, Monday off. And he's like, you got to use your vacation days, but if not, I'll cover you. So go ahead and have fun. Like, he knows what I do on the side job. The whole company knows and loves and supports me. So, yeah, I don't think I would quit entirely doing my day job just to fill up my time a little bit.
I think that's one of the big things with, especially powerlifting, but just training in general, is that constant progression in your life. Like, that's one of the big things you see when people first get into it, is that everything else can be going to shit, but they can be progressing week to week or month to month every year. So people, like, I'll have stuff happen, and I'm like, oh, well, I've still got training going forward in this or career going forward in that or whatever, and so you can almost latch onto it a wee bit. So the
yeah, no, exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just going to kind of elaborate. The first 3 years of powerlifting, that's the way it was for me. Like I threw through family, through relationships, through everything to the back burner, and was solely focused on a 1,000 or 2,200, 1,000 kilo total. That was all that mattered to me. So I found that I progressed a lot faster, finding a balance and progressing in both personal and on the platform.
Yeah, 100%. So take us back. How did you actually get into powerlifting? What did you do before powerlifting? You're obviously lifting still, but I hope you're lifting still.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Growing up, I played a lot of ice hockey and snowboarded with my father quite a bit, and I blame that kind of on my superior leg development because I had 22-inch calves, and everybody always comments like, "Why are your calves so big?" Blah blah blah, this and that. But my calf development really kind of came from that. And then high school, of course, I played football. I was rather good. I mean, one of the top performers in my school there for a while in my conference and even in the state. And then after that, I was going to go to college, and I ended up falling into a men's league rugby team. And we played a lot of rugby. I did that for 3 years. And after college, I I was 180 kilos, just completely different body composition than I am now. And my life was just kind of going downhill. I had a decent job, but I just wasn't healthy at all. And then I dropped down to 240 pounds. That took me about 2.5 years, and which training more aerobic style and HIIT training, stuff like that, early stages of those. A lot of cardio. And when I got there, I was trying to get in the Marine Corps here in the United States, and because I had a lot of family members that were in the Marine Corps prior, and I had some hereditary background that wouldn't let me in, and the age limit was coming up. So when that kind of fell through, I didn't have a goal, and one of the local powerlifting groups, I guess you could say, they had a charity push-pull event for tornado victims, because we had a lot of tornadoes in the Midwest, and they raised a bunch of money for them, and I went there, and I was just like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Prior to that, I had never never deadlifted anything over 500, anything over 220 without straps, and I ended up pulling 725, so 330-ish that day, and I ended up benching like 200 kilos. So
I quit.
Yeah, it just kind of went from there. There was those guys from that gym. They kind of recruited me, and I've been telling a lot of people these last couple weeks how my love for the sport was in the beginning was just how everybody was so welcoming and everybody was so helping. Everybody wanted to see you succeed, whether you guys were in competitors in the same weight class or not, and everybody wanted to help everybody. And I've seen that kind of diminish over the last couple of years, but that's neither here nor there. That's just the politics of powerlifting, especially when you get to the elite level. You see it a lot more clear. And but that's what really hooked me. And then from there on, that was like December 2013, and I did my first competition in February 2014, and I ended up totaling 1906. So not it was good, but at that time I was 12th in the country in the 308 or 140 weight class, and I was like, I could really be good at this, and it just kind of skyrocketed from there. Yeah.
I see. So that's so for our other. I just had a look on our open powerlifting, and that meter's on there. So you squatted 340, which is like 750 pounds. Bench 200, which is 440, and then pulled 325. So that's like 720 or so. So that's 865 kilo total on your first comp. That's like. I mean, back then, that's 2014. Back then, that's a big total. Sport has progressed at a ridiculous rate. I mean, part of it's probably thanks to you. You've literally setting the bar higher and higher every year now. But what do you think is causing that drastic increase?
One of the big factors is body weight. I went from 140 to 180. Of course, you have the ups and downs, and I stayed in the 140 group for a while. I was trying to cut, making those awful choices in water cut, water manipulation, and all that stuff. Like, I did that for a little while, trying to be competitive, but then, of course, King Eric, he had to come in the 140s, and I was like, okay, Eric, I'm going to stay away from you. I'm still thanking him till today about getting out of powerlifting and staying out of the super heavyweights. I know he'd demolish him if he wanted it bad enough, but we have a good relationship. He was actually my first coach to my first 1,000 key total.
Oh, nice.
And that's the greatest progression there is just, like I was saying earlier, everybody trying to help everybody. And I've learned so much. I've just kind of tried to be a sponge and learn from everyone and learn from myself too, because nobody knows your body better than yourself. And just like trying to stay away from injury and trying to see these different avenues of accessories and, what's going to help you progress strength-wise, because teetering on that strength to fatigue level and management it's really tough to figure out if you can't fully function with your own body and fully move forward with it. It's been pretty crazy, but I think I got her pretty dialed in now.
How do you do that, Dan? I know a lot of people will train and they think, okay, now it's getting a little bit hard now. A lot of people go either way. It's getting a little bit hard now. I'm gonna pull it back a bit, or it's getting a little bit hard now, but I can keep pushing through. Like what goes through your head that prevents you from going too far that you get an injury, but obviously putting in enough effort so that it's a successful workout?
Yeah, I've always trained linear, and I've always just kind of went from my projected third attempt or what I want to hit at the competition, and started about 12 weeks out for a good peak. I've always went linear and just tried moving up, 10, 20 pounds in a week, whether it feels great or feels not, maybe if I have to back down or not, or what not have you there. But what really the bigger factor there has just been, how mentally and how bad you want that next kilo. For me, visualizing, like I was saying earlier, with chewing on those numbers, when I write out that program, as soon as I get done with that lift on Sunday, I'm looking at the next Sunday to where I got to see what I'm going to be hitting or whether I think this set's going to be there. But I've had those weeks too where it just didn't go my way, and I was supposed to hit a set of 3 and I hit it for a single, and then the very next week stayed at that same number and tried hitting it for 3 then. Just that mental motivation, just a little self-confidence in yourself can really take you a lot farther than you think. And of course, sleeping right and the nutritional side of it has been a big factor for me. I've had a sleep apnea machine since 2015, and I really think I try to progress that onto people as much as I can, especially super heavyweights or anybody over the 140 group. It's not going to hurt you to have more oxygen while you sleep whatsoever. And like I was at a point where I was actually waking myself up from choking on my own tongue, and it's just that's definitely not going to help you progress. And, it was just that side of it has been what helped me a lot. And then fluctuating with my body weight has also been very good. I remember the first time I got up to 355, so right around 160 kilos. First time I got up there, I was completely miserable and I felt horrible. Dropped back down to where I was comfortable. The next time I hit 160, I was way more comfortable. I could get through my daily work job. I could get through training just fine. Just that fluctuation of gaining 20 pounds, losing 20 pounds, feeling comfortable, then get right back up to it, and that slow progression, because it's been almost 5 years now, somewhere around there, since I've been out of the 140s. And I was, 180 before 10 years ago. So I think my body and my joints were all accommodated for it, because I graduated high school at 145. So, in 6th grade, I was 140. So I've been always kind of a larger unit, I guess you could say.
But your fitness is pretty good. I know you've said before on other podcasts, you're your fitness is pretty good. And I noticed after, and I had to rub my eyes. I noticed after one of those deadlifts, you actually hopped, and you must have hopped like half a meter or a meter in the air. I thought there's no way a 180 kilo man should be able to do that, but you did it.
Well, when I get down like that and trying to pull myself into position, it's like putting 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound sack. You know, there's a little pressure there. So that's kind of that's the best way for me to get out of position. Just kind of hop out of it and try to stand up and walk again. So yeah. I've caught that quite a bit.
Sorry, Jackson, go ahead.
I was going to say that on that tension thing. So like, you see guys with these massively wide stances on squats and deadlifts, etc. I mean, you're a massive dude. So, and your squat stance is hip width, basically?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, in wraps, I'm a little bit wider than my shoulders.
Right.
But in sleeves, I bring it in a little bit because I got to rely more on my hamstrings hitting off my calves to sit back a little farther.
So and same with your deadlift, like you have quite a narrow stance as well. So is that a big thing for you that you focus on, is building that tension on the way down on the squat and the bench, or then trying to gather that tension, like you say, on the deadlift?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just it goes into the kind of what I said earlier. You know, shoving 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound sack, you're gonna have some hydraulic pressure, and that's kind of what I try to focus on. And I've noticed, like, it kind of helped me a lot when I did go to those gear training when I was training in briefs, because it helped me a lot on being able to control my shin going over my toes. And prior to that, I had an issue with my knees always contracting further and harder over my toes than I've ever, now I have more control over that than I ever have, where that helps me a lot more, being able to sit in the hole, and I don't have to pivot my chest forward as far as I ever did. I try to stay as upright as I can, but you know, sometimes, you know, when it's got a little weight on there, it's kind of hard to do, depending on how much strength my lumbar has that afternoon. But yeah, definitely that narrow stance really helps me in the rebound of the lift. But it's a good and bad, because you can also not be able to get in proper position that way too. So that's why I've been lucky enough to work with a few PTs on keeping my flexibility and keeping, you know, as agile as I can to an extent, being 180 kilo.
So for you guys, so PT in the States is a physical therapist, yeah? So here a PT is a personal trainer. Obviously, you don't bother with them. They're not going to make you fucking do some kettlebell circuits and shit. But
no
so
offense
physical...
to our PT listeners.
Hey, mate, that's me.
So, you guys said it, I didn't.
So lost half our listeners.
So they wouldn't listen to us, bro. We're fat and unfit and actually talk sense.
Yeah.
So physical therapy. So is that a regular thing for you? Like massage, needling, cupping? Like, what's your go-to? Do you have someone you regularly go to?
Well, actually, my handler, Seth Albert, was the guy I was talking about earlier. He's actually a doctor chiropractor, and he, every time I have any kind of an issue, I will, hey, can you check me out? How's it going? You know, just kind of. But other than that, if everything feels fine, I just tend to leave it alone. Nice. I do have a prehab rehab thing that I like, stretch routine that I go through, and that's actually put on by Jacob Ross. He's worked heavily with Olympic athletes, NBA athletes, and stuff like that over his career. A very intelligent guy, but he, like, going to him at first, I knew his resume, but I didn't know how in depth he likes to get with his athletes. So I actually had to fly up to Chicago. He got his hands on me, kind of felt me over, and figured out, you know, my body type, how my muscles were working and stuff like that. And I really appreciated him wanting to get that far in depth with me. That was a real big kind of a game changer. But he's helped me the last 6 months now on the prehab and rehab stretching mobility routine. And it's really been quite the game changer for me. Prior to that, it was just you know, the typical bands, get the muscle in your blood in your muscle and get to work, stuff like that. But yeah, that's really been kind of a game changer for the way that I've attacked the weights.
Did it get you on? Did it get you on one of his tables up there? Did he in Chicago?
Yeah, it's kind of felt me out, and just kind of.
And that thing can take 180 kilos. That must be a strong table. The fucking creaking going on. Oh, this is dodgy.
Yeah, and then some.
Is he the kind of guy that probably took one look at you and thought, I'm going to have to put some hard yards in here, because if he wants to get down to some of those deeper muscles on a man your size, there's going to have to be some elbows, some jumping up and down with the heels and so forth. You can't be that easy to work on.
No, have you guys seen those the pain pill that Chris Duffin makes?
Oh yeah.
It's just a large steel rod, and that thing that'll get into you. And I've actually worked a lot with Donnie Thompson and his body tempering.
Nice.
That's been kind of a tool that I go to every now and again. It's not a normal thing to me, but if I'm really achy and really, I feel it like in the deeper muscle tissues and fibers like that, I will use Donnie's ex-wife, and it's helped me quite a bit over the years. And Donnie and I have had a great relationship, and but Jacob, he knows what he's talking about. He knows, like I said, how he got personal with me and found out what muscles were working, what muscles weren't. It was kind of crazy on the Scientology that he has behind it.
The ex-wife, Donnie's favorite. That thing is like what, 130 pounds or something?
Yeah, now Rogue sells two of them, and one's 130 pounds, and the other one's 180 pounds, I believe.
That's ridiculous. So if people haven't seen these, look it up. Body Tempering by Donnie Thompson. It's basically it's almost like a foam roller shape, but it's 180 pounds. And you basically let it do the work.
Like a steamroller.
Yeah, literally like a steamroller.
I was at a gym in Iowa one time, and we didn't have one, and I could tell my lower back was just tighter than a clam. And we actually used a keg from Strongman, and it was a 220 pound keg. And I just had it rolled up and down my back, and those guys were like, "You're insane!" I was like, "You have no idea how great this feels." yeah, I'm trying to use a lot of different things to get those muscles released.
Oh, I know. I can tell from. I mean, I'm not as big as you, Dan, but I've had my boys, my two boys, my older boy anyway. I've had them stand on my back. Just when you've got that knot in your back and it's down deep, you want to do anything you can to get rid of it. So I've had my boys walk up and down my back trying to dig their heels in. It hurts like a motherfucker, but you do anything to get that pain away. Yeah.
Yeah, just get it released one time. That's all you need.
Exactly. So at the Dan, you're at the elite level now, eh? You mentioned some of the politics, eh? Is it a bit of drama going on in the US, or is it just like powerlifting all around the world?
A little bit all over the world, and with the US, over the years I've seen that a lot of the meet directors are kind of cut from the same cloth, and it's more, what can you do for me? What can you do for my federation type of deal, or how much money can you put in my pocket? And I've seen there's been a handful of meet directors that I came across that were solely for the lifters, supporting the lifters, showing the younger lifters and paying forward the knowledge, helping the younger lifters and stuff like that. But there's been a majority of them that were just really narcissistic and just wanting to fill their own pockets and get rich off everybody else. And it kind of took me to getting to the elite level to open my eyes and see that, and seeing how a lot of them act. But I would never want to speak ill will on anybody personally. Everybody has to do what they have to do to survive and whatnot. But it's just it almost, like I said, kind of takes the fun out of it for me.
What's this past week been like in the post comp glory? Has it been fun?
Yeah, definitely. I actually the meet was in Miami, and about 3 hours south of there was the Florida Keys, and it's a really good time. It's just one big street. It's got nothing but food, strip clubs, and bars, and it's just a great avenue to have So I took a couple of my best friends and we went down there for the 3 days after the comp. I was going to do that, whether I bombed or whether I did what I did, and just relieve the stress from the last 12 weeks of prep, and just kind of let loose and not have to worry about what's the next kilo we're putting on the bar. Did that for the first 3 days. Kind of ignored social media as much as I could, just to give my brain a break from that. But then drove back on Wednesday and started work again on Thursday. It's been pretty surprising the amount of support that the people have given me, whether it be somebody that's got 100,000 followers and a great total on top of it, or just the little guys. Last weekend there was a pretty big meet in Tampa, which is about 3 hours away from where I live, and the competition was really large. It had 140 lifters on Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
2 platforms, put on by a good meet director, and I went over there and just hung out and signing autographs, taking pictures, kissing babies, all that kind of fun stuff, and it was really good. And it's really good. I think it's really good for me to kind of give back, because I would always answer questions and take time out to help the next guy, because that's something I believe in. Like I said earlier, it's just one of the reasons that I got into the sport. And if I can share that knowledge and help pursue that passion on someone else, that means more to me than any total I can put up. Honestly, that's just the way I've kind of always been.
Nice. And what's next for you, Dan? I know you've mentioned the Kern, 1,200 kilo total.
Yeah.
You put it out there. I'm gonna
give her a shot. I mean, just by continually watching the videos that I put up from the meet and stuff like that, I really think 1,200 might be in my wheelhouse. I've went over the numbers, calculated, and seen what I can do. It's going to be loaded on the bar, I promise you that. But whether it goes up is another story. It's got to be a perfect day. But I'm going to go give her a shot. There's no point in me not doing it, especially with the prize money they got going. And the location's good. The people over there are good people. And the competition. I get to go get John Hacks again. I love that. John and I have been friendly for the last 6 years. He's from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. We've been really good friends. There's not much for competition coming from the super heavyweight class. I mean, I know there's going to be quite a few guys in the class, but competition at my level isn't quite there. But Wilkes wise, you got to play that game to win the prize. So
yeah, because John wasn't too far behind on Wilkes, was he? He's probably only 20, 30 points behind. Yeah.
Yeah, he was real close, and he stays in sleep. So thank God for that.
Sleeps in high bar.
Yeah, exactly. The kid's a freak. He's always has been.
Has Peter Petres, has he reached out to you to say he's coming for you, or has he been just?
I wish he would say that, but he's too nice of a guy.
Yes, he is a really nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard nothing but great things about him. We've interacted actually after he took the world record from me in December. I congratulated him, reached out to him, told him all his lifts look great. I'm sure he's got more in the tank if he wants to pursue it again. And then Sunday when I competed last week, he told me my squat looked good, and then we talked a little bit after the meet. But it's so great to have another champion. I actually told him after I took the world record, I told him, I was like, I just pray that my legacy lives on as long as yours has and will, because the guy's been in the sport for 20 years. The guy's been somewhere at the top of the sport for 20 years. He doesn't compete as often as I do, but that's his personal choice, and I respect that, and I do appreciate that side of him. But he's a true champion in my eyes, and if he does come out of the blue and take 1,200, 1,220 in total, I would love to see it. Just when he did that.
So would we.
11. Yeah, right. When he did that, 1160, I'd be a liar if I told you didn't light a good fire under my ass. It's real big time.
I remember, I think it was last year or maybe 2019 or 2020. After you hit, when was it? Into 2019, when you broke Andre's record with the 11:42.5. I don't know if you said it or someone else said it, but you were potentially thinking of just stopping with powerlifting.
Yeah, I said it 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. I was gonna be done after this one. Just the nerves.
So so you almost tell yourself you're done after this one. Does that make you like do a better performance on the day, and then you get there and you're like, oh shit, that was too easy. Well, I better go again. You know.
Exactly. That was like kind of one of the reasons that I chose to do the Kern, because it was so close, and I knew I could mold my strength into keeping it and hit a little peak again. I would just have to do just enough to peak out my strength with training wise and attack the platform again. Here in 8 weeks now. So yeah, I really think I got some more in the tank. Whether it's going to be 1,200, it'll be a good question. We'll have to play with that on the meet day. But right now, that's the plan.
So I mean, you've just hit some ridiculous. I mean, I was at Pro Raw when Dylan was the first person to hit 1,000 kilos. 1,000, sorry, not 1,000 kilo. Jesus, 1,000-pound squat and a 900 deadlift, and that was like off the chain. And so here we are. It's only 2.5 years, 3 years later, and you've hit 1,100, 900, but then a 600-pound bench as well. I mean, where does it stop? I mean, you don't want to put limits on yourself, but like, what's?
I know you said, Dan, you want to be untouchable, eh? You want to be untouchable. I think you've said that before, haven't you?
Yeah. I was really uncomfortable with 25:18 with 11:42.5 because I knew there were so many guys being able to get out and touch that real easily, whether it be Dylan or Graham or any strongman that wants to, or even Peter like he did. I was really uncomfortable with that, but it didn't quite light a fire in my ass like Peter's world record did. I was really pissed when Dylan took that first 455 and 410 because I wanted it and I tried it and I wanted to do it in November, but I ended up missing the 400 on my second with a little stumble, and then Dylan did it at Pro Raw. Oh, I was so mad. But then actually it was a year ago yesterday, I was the first to squat 455 and pull 410 in sleeves. So I that was my own little redemption on that one. It was kind of nice, but yeah, I want to push the limits. I want to see where it's going to be, but then again, with these kind of weights, I also have to think about getting hurt, and that's something I definitely don't want to do because with the way the sport is set up, if I do get hurt, I'm not going to be able to get a paycheck on Monday. So that's something you have to think in the back of your head. I'm praying that one day that doesn't have to be the thought for most of us elite powerlifters, but right now I have to worry about going to work on Monday. So that's something that has to stay in my head. And I've grown up over the years, I guess you could say, or matured over the years to keep that thought process in my head. But that's something I got to think about.
So you, at the moment, obviously you've done the 1182.5, the 2,600 pounds, but you've also currently the biggest total in sleeves with 1127.5. So what, like, obviously, so you'll do Kern, which is wraps. Would you then think about doing another sleeve meet to then put that total out of reach as well? I know there's like the showdown and stuff in September, which is sleeves.
Yeah, definitely. Ray's knocking on the door, and Ray and I do have a good friendship too. And I know Ray wants 2,500 just as bad as I do in sleeves. It's something I would definitely think of, but I really think after the Kern, I have to focus on myself and getting a little healthier. Just with the roller coaster I've been on, and my blood pressure's been up there, but that comes with the territory. I've been really good about controlling that these last 6-7 months, and I do have my wife and I just shared our 1-year anniversary not that 2 weeks ago, and we got a future that we're gonna try to get a hold of. Just maybe get a little dumbbell running around. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So that's something that's been going in the back of my head. We're both not getting any younger by the day. So just those different aspects of life, I would like to take. I would really love to take. I think, and I know that I could probably get 1140 out of sleeves. That would be something I would like to do. But it's just got to be timed right, and it's got to be a good meet. I'm not going to put myself through 12 weeks of hell for just a trophy. If you guys, you know, it has to be a nice little payday too. So, yeah, that's just my outlook at it, especially at this level. I don't mean to seem arrogant if that's the way it's coming off, but that's just the way it goes, you know, with putting your body through all that stuff.
Well, Dan, you're number one in the world at the moment. Your nearest rival is Peter, and if Peter doesn't want to make a move in the near future, your nearest rivals are potentially. Well, Eric's not lifting anymore, right? Adele Manuel not lifting anymore.
Eric's lifting.
Is Eric still lifting?
Eric's lifting. Come on, bro. Keep up with the socials. Jesus Christ, Greg.
You can't keep up with the socials. That's fucking impossible. Yeah.
Eric's still lifting. Dude, he squatted like 450 like the other week, I'm pretty sure.
Jeez, I'm so out of touch. Okay.
So he's still there, man. He's just lean. He's cut down. He's like 130 or something.
Well, I think, Dan, number one in the game at the moment. I think you're going to be there for a number of years anyway. So you've got this is your moment to, you know, love it, enjoy it.
Yeah, Eric and I actually have talked quite a bit back and forth. He's got a 500 kilo goal, and you know he was super excited for me when I got mine last week. And there isn't a doubt in my mind that kid could literally crush the numbers. You know, even being leaner, he's been molded the last 28 years of his life for this sport. You know that he is powerlifting, and when he wants to turn on and quit enjoying life, you know, enjoying his wife and enjoying his new life in Australia, and you know wants to get back to it, I'm sure he would have zero problem with it. It's not that it scares me, because it doesn't scare me. It fills my heart full of joy to know that he has that potential, and when he wants to, he will. But I love that side of him that wants to enjoy his life and fulfill more goals outside of powerlifting, because he's been pigeonholed for the last 25 years in powerlifting, you know. And I say pigeonholed. I mean, his parents didn't do that to him, but it's just growing up around it. That's been his life wrapped around powerlifting. He's such a great guy. I have nothing bad to say about him, but if he wants to turn on, he will.
Nice.
Sorry, Eric, if you're listening, I got it wrong. 483.5 at 133. Yeah. 133. So
I got it wrong too. I thought you'd quit, Eric. So sorry about that.
Jesus, Greg, cut the man some slack.
It's hard to keep up with all this powerlifting going on. Dan, we're going to let you go. I want to thank you so much for coming on. We're just a little podcast out of New Zealand, but you are incredibly humble man and a good man, and we really appreciate your time.
That means the world to me. Thanks, fellas. I really appreciate that. I appreciate what you guys do for the sport too. It's really good getting good people out there, and you guys get insights and know what you're talking about. It's good to see.
Awesome, man. All right, you take care and all the best for the future, and we'll be keeping an eye on you, and we wish you well.
Thanks again, fellas. Have a good night.
Thanks for your time. See you later.